So guys, we are done with the overall adjustment. Now we are moving on to the selected adjustment in Capture One. For this, we are going to go to the layers menu. So we are going to do this in the layers section. Layers separate your photo into different layers so you can edit one area without affecting the rest of the image. That's why selective adjustment. So the first layer you're going to see is the background layer, which is actually your image right here. If you delete this, you are going to delete your image. So you can add new layers using this plus icon right here, or coming to layer and adding new layer. Capture One basically has 4 layer styles. To access that, you click on this arrow button down here. You can see new empty adjustment layer, new field adjustment layer, new clone layer, new heel layer, and they are all different layers for different selective adjustment in Capture One. So to cover the first one, we are going to create a new empty adjustment layer. So you create a new empty adjustment layer. This layer is basically empty, meaning if you make any adjustment right now, it's not going to affect any area of the image because this is an empty adjustment layer. Let's rename this empty. So in order to make adjustment to this layer, we are going to add a marks. We are going to draw marks on a particular section of the image so that we can make adjustment to that section. So to draw the marks, we can use either the brush, we can use the magic brush, we can use the linear gradient, we can use the radial gradient, and we have other marking, which is the erase, the cloning, and the healing. For this, we are going to use the brush. And this section right here, these tools down here, you can also see them in the cursor tools. You can see the brush. If you click on this arrow, you see the other options. So we'll pick the brush. So after selecting the brush, you come and paint on the image. As we paint, you can see the adjustment we made previously to this layer is now affecting this area of the image. Now we can adjust the brush setting, the brush size, we can adjust it like this. The hardness, we can adjust the hardness. If we move to the extreme right, you can see it's 100. If you move to the extreme left, it's 0. This is soft brush, this is hard brush, and this is in between. You can see that if it's more inclined towards the left, it means it's a softer brush. This is the harder brush, this is the hardest the brush can get. This is the softest the brush can get. We also have opacity at 100. You can reduce the opacity to 1, meaning the effect of the brush on the image is going to have the opacity value of 1, and at 100 you're going to have the opacity value of 100. The flow is the opacity of each stroke, meaning if the flow is 1, if you make a brush stroke once, it's going to add it at a 1 opacity. If you continue to make it for 100 times, it's going to have opacity of 100. If you move the brush to 50, since the flow is 50, you brush over the image like this, it's going to add the brush effect with an opacity of 50. If you move it over that same spot, 50 plus 50 is 100. So it's just like your pen. With less flow, the effect is going to be applied more gradually. With more flow, is going to be applied more rapidly. So let's make the flow 30. This. Another option, you can see airbrush. You can tick the airbrush and use pen pressure if you're using the tablet. There's also auto marks, which automatically detect edges. It helps you to mask the applied brush faster. You have link. You can link brush with layer, eraser with brush, link, eraser with brush. So you can do basically that, but for now we are not going to check any of this. We're just going to brush over this green area of the hair dye to mask it so that we can apply this empty layer adjustment to this portion of the image. So that's it. If you brush over this area like this, you can also zoom in This is a zoom button. You can zoom in. If you click on the plus, you can use the Z brush, that is the Z on your keyboard. If you press on Z, you are going to zoom in. If you press like this, you are also going to zoom in. So after zooming in, you can still take a brush and continue to paint on the areas. Since the auto max is turned on, this brush is going to take note of the edges, that is the edges of the color, and avoid those areas slightly. And you can manually do everything if you turn this auto max off. So let's turn it off and see how it works. You turn it off, you can increase the flow like this. Let's increase the flow to 60 so that will be fast. And you can brush over this area. Let's make this kind of adjustment to the brush so that we see exactly where it's affecting. Not just that, you want to see where it's being brushed or where this layer is being applied to. You come to your layer, come to max visibility and turn on the always display max, and the max color is red. You can change it from red in the preference tab. I'll show you that later on. Right now you can just see where it's being maxed. This area is being maxed, and so this area, if you turn on the max, auto max, so that it's going to only max and avoid the skin tone area. So if you're maxing bleeds into area you don't want, take your eraser tool. There's the eraser, click on the eraser, it's right here, and use the shortcut E on your keyboard, and this is the eraser also on the cursor tools. So you can use the eraser to erase from areas you don't want the brush effect to be on. So if you take the eraser and erase from the skin tone area like this. So you can take your time to make this adjustment. I just want to show you how it really works. So if you maxed this area out like this, roughly, come to your layer, max visibility, and turn off max visibility. You can use the M key on your keyboard to toggle between the max visibility, toggle it on and toggle it off, off, on, off. So right now you can make adjustment to this area we have maxed. So all the adjustments on this layer is going to affect only the area we've maxed. So if you increase the temperature, it's going to only increase the temperature on the maxed area. If you reduce or increase the tint, every adjustment you can apply to just this area. So that's exactly how it works. I even said using every adjustment can be applied only here. That's why it's called selective adjustment. So that's exactly how it works. You can also adjust the opacity of the layer. If you reduce the opacity to 0, it means the layer has been turned off. You can gradually increase the opacity. So since the adjustment we've made is not a desirable adjustment, let's reduce the opacity to 0. This is not the only adjustment option you have. This is not the only max option you have. You can use the magic max. This one automatically uses AI to detect a particular area and max that area out. So if you take the magic max, which is available here and also available in the cursor tools, and I click on, let's say this area that has the cyan color, click on this area, it's going to automatically max this area. Let's click on M to see the area it has maxed. Automatically it's going to max this area. Let's create a new empty layer. So let's click on this area like this and calculating magic max brush. It automatically marks this area for us. So this is how it works. It marks only the color that it has sampled. So right now we can come and make adjustments. So you press M on your keyboard to hide the max visibility. So now you can make adjustment to this particular color, and this doesn't stop you from still using your brush to add areas. Use your brush, your normal brush, and then max areas that the magic marks did not automatically detect for us. So this one is even a way faster method. So you can see we've changed the color using these adjustments. So the other kind of layer style we have is the field adjustment layer. So the field adjustment layer is just going to fill all the areas with the marks. So you create this field adjustment. Let's rename it field adjustment. So you create the field adjustment layer, you can make adjustment to all the areas. It's just like your default background layer, but this time we can use the eraser tool to remove this particular adjustment from areas we don't want. You see, you can remove the adjustment from areas we don't want. It's like the opposite of the empty adjustment. The opposite of the empty adjustment layer is the field adjustment layer. This is going to fill all the image with adjustment, what is going to be empty. That is basically how it works. So we are going to delete this particular adjustment, or we can use right here to toggle it off. Let's just toggle it off, toggle this off, and toggle this off as well. So that's it for the field adjustment. Very simple. The other adjustment we have the new clone layer. So let's create a new clone layer. If you create a new clone layer, you can see that all the adjustment has been grayed out, meaning you cannot make any normal adjustment to this particular layer. The only adjustment you can make is using the healing brush, the clone brush, and the remove spot. So first we are going to draw healing marks. So to do that, we are going to zoom into the image. So if we zoom into our image, you can zoom out by pressing Alt on your keyboard. If you are using Windows, if you are using Macs, you press on Option key to invert the zoom in. So if you are zooming out and press Alt, you are going to zoom in. If you are zooming in and press Alt, you are going to zoom out like this. You can also use the mouse scroll. If you scroll down, you zoom out. If you scroll in, you zoom in. So now take your healing brush. It's available in the cursor tools, and it's also available down here in the layers adjustment section. So take your healing brush and then paint over the area you want to heal, just like this, and Capture One is going to heal the area automatically for you. Now if you click on this down arrow key, you can see you can always display layer marks, only display marks when drawing, display gray marks. You can also click on this display arrows. It's going to show us areas that Capture One has sampled from us. So if you click on this particular display arrows and it's showing display arrow, you can manually shift and adjust where it's being sampled when Capture One is healing this area for us. So this is a way to refine your adjustment. And if you right click, you can adjust the hardness. Let's reduce the hardness to 0 to soften the areas we are healing. So right now we can heal like this, heal like this. You can also adjust the opacity and the flow, but we are going to leave it at 100 for maximum effect with the first stroke. So with this, you are seeing areas that have been healed. So this is exactly how the healing brush works, and to get a more realistic result, it's good to reduce the brush size to fit over the blemish you are going to heal. So let's turn off this display so that you can easily do this faster. So if you heal a particular area you are not satisfied with the result, you can adjust the sampled area. It's only in Capture One I've seen this kind of option. Show how powerful Capture One is. So I paint over this area, again. So this is how the healing brush works. And now we'll move on to the cloning marks. The healing brush basically heals blemishes, while the cloning marks, which is available here, cloning marks is available here. And clone area of your photo by first selecting a source point and then brushing over the target area. The cloning brush is available here and is also available here. So you can see the cursor tabs, you can see the cloning marks in the cursor tab, you can also see the cloning marks in the layers adjustment section. So you can see to clone, Alt click to define a new source point. So you first have to adjust your brush size. You can use the bracket open or bracket close. You can also use the right clicking to adjust the brush size. So you are going to hold Alt on your Windows or Option on your Mac to sample from a neat area, and then you brush over the area you want to clone. So you hold Alt, you clone, and then you brush over this area like this. So you are basically copying the pixels from this area, you are brushing it here. You can adjust the flow and opacity. To get a more realistic result, it's good to reduce the flow of the clone so that it doesn't completely copy the sampled area 100%, so that the clone can look more natural. So you hold Alt to sample and then you brush over areas like this to heal. So you go over all the areas that has blemishes. That is how the clone stamp tool works. And so if you come and display the arrows, you can see areas that have been cloned, and you can still make other adjustments to readjust the source point of the cloning. Also, you have the remove spot. You can use the remove spot like this. You can adjust the size of your brush, and then you click over the area you want to remove the spot. You can adjust the size, you can reduce the size, and you can move this over any area of the image. So what the remove spots basically does, it removes spots from your image. From areas that has spots, you remove the spot. That's how the remove spot works. But I barely use the remove spot. I go for the healing brush and the cloning marks. So that's how to work on the clone layers. We are going to go into more details, because you can see that most area we have cloned here is not even looking that perfect. And since this is not the final stage of retouching, you can still be okay with this. We can leave it at this point. So from the clone layer, we can also create another similar layer, which is the heal layer. So the heal layer uses the remove spot, the draw, and the healing marks. Is almost the same, if not the same. So you can adjust the source. So we are just going over what we've just already discussed. So you can increase the size of the spot remover, the radius, and you can use the type and use dust or spot. And by seeing effect in return, you can see exactly what is happening. So this spot remover, the Capture One is going to use AI to remove the spot for you. So this is exactly how it works. can go over every other areas of your image to remove the spot using either the cloning marks or the healing marks. So to remove the layer, click on the minus button. If you're on any of the layers and click on the minus button, you are going to remove those layers. This is how to remove layers. So the cursor tools take some of the adjustment tools right here and make them available for easy access. So basically we covered almost all the sections, and one last thing we are going to take note of is the luma range. Click on embed color profile. Then for the quality, I'm going to change it to by cubic sharper for a sharper image. You can see how sharp our image is right now. Very sharp. Then you're going to click on save. Find the folder where you want to save and to that area. So this is the end of the retouching course. If you have any inquiry, you can reach out to me on Instagram. If you have my WhatsApp, you can contact me on WhatsApp. Also, for those of you that are very busy, we offer retouching services. That is, you can send us your image and then we edit them for you. High-end retouching at a very affordable rate. So even after learning this, if you want us, we can edit your images for you. Just reach out to me on Instagram. If there are other stuff you need, you can reach out to me on Instagram. If you have any question, you can ask me on Instagram. See you in another one.